Hey guys, so my name's Tiera, Arbogast, and I'm going to be reading What Love Is by Sebastian. But I wanted to start by kind of briefly summarizing the poem before I read it, and then summarizing it more in depth afterwards. But basically, Sebastian in this poem is touching on what love is, as you can tell by his title. And you're going to find a few ideas, but the main idea is that he finds love in simplicity, and in simple things make him feel passionate and make him feel love. And I'm going to go ahead and read the poem and then explain to you more in depth about what I'm trying to say. You could tell he was a Marsalis brother, even sitting in the back. He had that muddy river lilt in his voice, the bristling intellect, and the irrepressible need to teach the storied history of African-American classical music. Jazz was in his blood as legacy. The funky butt was jammed, only this back table free. Whiskey's on the way, a Basie number monk. The band tight, Delfeo's trombone aflame from the opening chorus. I even don't mind that nearby tables were more chatter than rapt attention, or that our waitress took her time, for Delfeo was holding forth on the subject of cuttin', that fraternal pissing contest where raw-boned skill and bravado run loose to fight for the night's supremacy. When the trumpet got introduced, he looked over at Marsalis, a little reticent to step into the ring. Who could blame him? Delfeo was all over the bone. So low in the register your feet could feel it. So high he was bumping the night's rafters. And not just range. He donned all the hats of virtuosity in rapid succession and swung like crazy, too. The trumpeter was game, followed behind like a younger brother, tossing up the bell of his horn, blatting out wild roundhouse notes. But he was going down, and when he managed a high C and held it, it came from his waist. He'd been cut off at the legs. We nearly jumped out of our seats like at some cellar cockfight. At the break, holding for the John, I spied a couple groping in the dark hall. The woman pushing the man up against the wall, kissing him hard, his hand cupping her ass. And when the waitress set down our drinks, her breast dropping like ripe peaches, a cowgirl tattoo dancing on her arm, I just about burst into happiness. For being among friends, for loving my wife, who I knew was at home, in front of the fire, dog asleep at her feet, and raised a silent toast to the night unfolding, to soulful music, and to the graceful glance of good luck's passing. Later, when Delfeo played the loveliest solo on You Don't Know What Love Is I ever heard, heroin slow, each note laid out like an early morning baker sets out a rack of bread loaves. The place got church quiet, drinks clinking as we listened in on a one-way lover's plea into the grimy payphone of the blues. Before we left, the couple returned, the guy's shirt back basted with brick dust and sweat. I shook Marsalis' hand on the way out in that tentative way blacks and whites do, half soul shake, half how you do, and told him what I thought of his solo. He gave me a look I couldn't read, that I'd like to think registered surprise. What do I know? Out on the street, on the walk back to the hotel, past a broken bottle Conga square, the four of us picked our way through the drunks. City still bustling past midnight, sidewalks slick from a street sweep of rain, jabbering about the prize fight of the set, and I tried to tell my friend something of the feeling that had taken hold of me, stumbling over the words like a greenhorn sitting in. He listened, rapt, happy, filling in the last gap of my music with a huge whoop, and then steps later, wow, wow, and we crossed over into canal, heads bent in reverie, for all the night had offered up in its swell. So from reading this poem, one can probably start to see why I personally think that this poem is saying that love is simplicity, because he uses things such as his passion for this African-American classical music that Delfeo is playing, even though I don't think that Sebastian Matthews is, or whoever is supposed to be the writer, I don't think that they are of the same race. And the reason I think this is because of the part where it says Marsalis' hand on the way out in that tentative way blacks and whites do. Half soul shake, how you do. So I think that Sebastian Matthews is saying that regardless of whether or not this music is from a different race or like from a different place, he can appreciate it the same way, and it's as simple as that. And he finds that love is also this is a simple thing of just being with company, with loving your wife and being among friends. He doesn't find joy in provocative things that took place in the poem, such as the waitress's breast dropping like ripe peaches with her cowgirl tattoo, or the couple he sees pushing each other up against the wall and kissing each other. He doesn't find passion and love in these things. He can sit down and just think about, and I think it's almost the music that's bringing this into him, like making him think these things and go into depth about things. But it's just like he can think about his wife and he can think about his friends and he can feel love just like he feels love for the music. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope my summary helped. Thanks, bye.